My name is Whitney Ward. I'm 28 years old. I'm from Portsmouth, Ohio, which is southern Ohio, almost the most southern that you can get. And I have a combined immune deficiency, and it's actually called MAGIS syndrome, and it was discovered by the National Institute of Health in 2013. And as of right now, I am one of 4 with this new syndrome. When I was born, I was full term and still weighed 4 pounds and 9 ounces, and I had clubbed feet and dislocated hips despite being a C-section baby. And my dad just said, it just looked like you really should have gone back in and baked a little bit longer. It didn't look like that you were a full-term baby. And I just had upper respiratory issues, I had infection, I had bouts with pneumonia, and it was different, but I think my doctors just thought, my pediatrician just thought that, well, she'll just grow out of it, eventually. And then at 6 years old, everything just came to a head. One Saturday morning, I woke up with excruciating pain in my knees, couldn't move them for like almost 2 hours, couldn't walk. The next day, I spiked a really high fever of 105 and was taken to Cincinnati Children's, where it was discovered I had septic arthritis, which was easily treated. But of course, they took blood counts, and they found that all these blood counts were not where they were supposed to be. I had issues with my white blood count, T cells, B cells, my hemoglobin wasn't where it was supposed to be. And so it was obvious there was something underlying, there that needed to be checked out. So I was taken from department to department, does she have CF? Does she have lupus? Does she have leukemia? And all those came back negative. No, she does not have it. We don't know what she's dealing with. So many doctor's appointments and tests later, my doctors were able to tell me, you have some type of combined immune deficiency complicated with autoimmune hemolytic anemia, but we don't know what's causing it. I had arthritis, psoriatic arthritis. I had excessive warts. I had to deal with, constant anemia, chronic sinusitis, high doses of steroids to keep my hemoglobin where it needed to be. And my care was just constant trial and error because they did not know what they were dealing with. Finally, they got me to where I was on a sub-Q, taking it biweekly and Rituxan every 6 months, and that finally got me stable somewhat, where I would have somewhat of a quality of life, because I miss anywhere from 75 to 100 days of school year just because I was just so sick. But finally they got me to that point with those treatments where I was at least stable, but I just always wished I would just know what is causing this, so I could tell people and give them an answer, and so I could have that clarity. And so in 2010, my immunologist, he told me at an appointment, I sent your case to the National Institute of Health. There's a new disease that was just discovered called DOC8, and there's a possibility that you could have it. You have a lot of the similarities with that disease, so be expecting a phone call possibly from the National Institute of Health. So very shortly I got a phone call, and of course they had to get my history and do all those preliminaries, see if I would fit in that certain protocol. And one of the first things they told me was, we probably will not find out what's wrong with you. You will just be researched to us where you can help other people, but more than likely there's so many genes in a person's body, we're not going to discover what's wrong with you. And I understood that, but when I got that call, I just had this excitement. I'm just thinking, this is a start of an adventure that is going to be the coolest adventure of my life. And so my first visit was in 2011, August of 2011, and it took about 3 years. and they discovered my gene mutation in 2013. The cool part was it was actually a scientist who attended the University of Pennsylvania. He was going for his MD and PhD in immunology, and when he got to the NIH, he was assigned my case, and so I feel a little sorry for him, but he got it and did all the research and just really worked hard and like never stopped and just tried to figure out what was wrong. And I just always appreciated that he never gave up on me, and eventually he discovered my gene mutation in 2013. So he did his dissertation on me, and he invited me to go attend that at the University of Pennsylvania, and he also invited me to name the gene mutation. And he told me, he's like, now, I know you expressed interest in naming it, but, more than likely, we won't pick the name that, you put out there. It's like, they probably won't even choose my name, but, just be a part of the process. Here's like the, symptoms that I think of when I think of your illness. Try to make an acronym, with that. So, I gave him the names and, not thinking they would pick mine. I was just felt so honored to even be a part of that process. And so we went to his dissertation, and we were sitting, and of course we were listening to everything, which a lot just went over in my head. And then at the end, he was like, and we've decided to call this Majus syndrome, which is the name that I submitted. And my sister and my mom were on either side of me, and I was elbowing him. I was like, that's my name, like they chose my name. And as I was walking out of the auditorium, my main doctor at the NIH, she said, did you notice we chose your name? I was like, I did, like, thank you so much. So, so it was just great from, from infancy to, at 28 years old, just to be able to connect those dots and just that other, puzzle piece, like, to my story, and be able to say, okay, I finally know, like, what's wrong, and now I can, see what other treatments there are and what, what I can do to even improve my quality of life even more. And so, but it's been such an honor to be at this conference because I've never known anyone else. And so to meet new people and just to not feel so isolated, and to be able to talk to people freely and not feel like you have to hide your deformities. That's just been a huge blessing. And so, because I've never experienced that before. And so it's also very humbling because you realize, oh, I'm not as unique as I thought I was. Everyone has a story, and everyone's rare, and everyone is a miracle here. And so it's just been a humbling, experience to be a part of this community, and so excited to be a part of a foundation that cares and goes above and beyond.